All right, welcome, Mr. Simon Banks. We really appreciate your time to have a bit of a chat with us about some leadership management issues.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Hey, just get the ball rolling. I'd just be really interested on your take as to how you've seen leadership change over your leadership journey.
Yeah, I really like all the questions you set out as well. So there's probably 3 or 4 key things. I think one, the idea that you have to know everything. I think there's often this idea that you're the leader, you're maybe the highest paid in the company, you need to know everything, but that's impossible because things move so quickly. So I've seen really good leaders will say, look, I don't know, but let's find out. So that's a shift from pretending you know or sort of trying to bluff your way through. I've seen around that it's very key. Leadership's around developing others, not just developing yourself. Like you go on these leadership development programs. So can be very inward focusing, but really it's around developing the people around you and your team. And I've heard a quote, which is, you're not a leader until you've developed another leader who's developed another leader. And it's a nice thing around, as well leading the company, I need to be creating those future generation of leaders. So very much that human element. I think getting the best out of everyone, which leads to that. So it's more than just being, making the tough decisions, and because you've got a great organizations are these living entities full of people, and you can have the best technology and have the best platforms, the best systems, but all problems and successes always come back to people, I've found. So it's very much that human element, and always having to be tough as well, tough old resilient leader, tough it out. The stories I've heard from the people I work with is when a leader can be vulnerable and actually be honest and not put on this big, tough man mask, etc. So there's some of the key things which I've seen, and also just heard from the communities I work and engage with.
Yeah, fantastic. No, that's really good. Appreciate that. So how then in your role in your business and your leadership, how and where do you find inspiration?
Oh, this is one of my favorite questions, and also one of the things I do so much with all the people I work with. You have to be an inspiration seeker. Okay, it will not come to you. You have to go after it with a sledgehammer. I think that's a Jack London quote, the author. Yeah, seek inspiration with a sledgehammer. And look, if you sit on your backside every day, and which most of us do, but do the same thing day in and day out, and don't put in any time to seek inspiration, you won't find it. Think of it as like exercise. You go, oh yeah, he's really fit, he's so lucky. It's not luck. He just makes the effort, or she makes the effort, I should say, to be fit. So it's like that with inspiration. So I'd like to call myself an experience seeker. So I like to search out and try and do new things constantly, possibly to my detriment sometimes around focus, but I really like to always seek and do new things. It's important to spend time out of your comfort zone as well. So continually challenge yourself. And I'm not talking panic zone here, like throwing yourself off the deep end, but also we've always find when we step out of our comfort zone, we're capable of much more than we thought. So not only does it change your mindset, also you get more done as well. And you keep on trying new things. There's so many great things we can do, and not at your detriment of never stop trying new things maybe and focusing what needs to be done, but constantly try new things and open your eyes. That's a big thing, because inspiration is everywhere if you open your eyes and look for it. Most of us spend our time in a little world like this, and there's this amazing world going on around us that we can so easily ignore because we're just so focused or sucked in to this little vortex of emails, social media, tap, tap, tap.
Yep. Well, just leading on from that, then how do you encourage innovative ideas?
Yeah, this is, again, one of my key things that I like to talk about. And one of the things I spoke at the CPA roadshow last year. And my talk was around look at the world with traveler's eyes. Yeah. And because imagine when we go on travel, which goes to what I spoke about before, from the moment you step off in, say, a new country, and that might seem a long way away now that we're speaking over Zoom, but the moment you step off in that new country, new location, the moment you get out the airport, your senses are on overload. So you smell things. I mean, the air smells different. The air feels different. You're hearing different sounds, dialects. You look at all the different patterns on the sidewalks. You're taking lots of photos of windows and doors for some reason. So there's all this inspiration. So we have traveler's eyes. So there are things there around us. So number one thing is open your eyes. And this other one I'm really keen on is this idea of creative confidence. Because my strongly held belief is we all have this superpower, which is our creative, curious, and imaginative mind. As adults, we're really good at going, not for me, that's for kids or, other people, or those sort of wafty types. I'll just be the serious, this down the middle type of person. So we get really good at working out one part of our brain and not working out the other. And so, but we've all got these ideas, but often it comes down to, I don't have the creative confidence to share those ideas, to try something which might not work. And what works the first time you try it, okay? Think of when you're writing an assignment, if you write it the first time, you don't go, it's perfect. You do a reread, don't you? You might do multiple rereads. So be open to trying new things, but you need that creative confidence to be able to work in that space. And IDEO, which is the human-centered design firm, and they run the D School out of Stanford, they've got a book called Creative Confidence. And once you get that, you see the lights go off in people. Oh, I can try new things. I can do new things. I can experiment. I can say something which might be a half-baked idea, and I'm not going to have the fear of laughter. But look, Uber was a half-baked idea. Airbnb was a half-baked idea. No idea is ever born fully formed, as much as we would like to. You don't go, all right, tomorrow I'm going to launch a fully formed Airbnb. Yeah. So it doesn't happen like that. You iterate and you try new things. And building big on that, if we're going to keep these ideas going, we need to get rid of the no's and the buts in our organizations. And if you listen out in a meeting, the amount of times you hear that, oh, no, but we've tried that before, or no, but that's good for other people, or no, but that's not the way we do things around here, Simon. We need to shift that to a yes and this doesn't mean you say yes to everything. It just means you allow ideas to thrive. So the ideas are there. It's more around creating that environment to get them out and develop that creative confidence.
So with all of that then, I know for a lot of leaders, they think it's every horse has to be a winner. So how do you cope with a failure or even a criticism?
Yeah, a good thing. It comes down to that cultural piece, and I get rid of the this mantra, fail fast, which is like become the new become the new sort of version of agile or whatever. Yeah. We'll hang on to these things. It'll be on a failed poster somewhere in 20 years that someone will pull out from behind the fridge in the canteen. But I think get rid of fail fast and experiment quickly.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Don't go and launch. Think of, let's use Masters hardware, which Woolworths put out in a way to rival Bunnings 3, 4, 5 years ago. They didn't go with one shop and test it. They went with 100 shops and tested them at once. They'd have done a small scale shop, tested it, got that right, got the mix right, listened to their suppliers, listened to their customers. It would have made a huge difference. But that was in terms of money lost in that time. So start small, experiment quickly, and then if it's not working out, kill your babies, okay? Don't be scared to put a line through it. And it's a great way to think, is it going to be economically feasible? Is it going to be technologically viable? And most importantly, is it desirable as well? So that's a great lens to look through, but experiment quickly, start small, iterate rapidly as you go, and kill the horse before it starts to race if you're not getting the feedback you want.
Brilliant. Oh, that's great. How then as a leader, what are some steps they can take to ensure that their vision can become a reality, that it goes from just conceptual to actually down there at the grass?
Yeah, there's one in the entrepreneurial programs I'm part of. There's this great saying, stop starting and start finishing. So I don't pretend I've got all the answers, but I really like that. So see your project through to the end. And what's something I've also found as well, which is, and when I wrote my book, which is a big old project, and as you know, having done, PhDs and different things that they don't come out overnight, was having an accountability buddy or a group of people who you can set your goals with and can help you on and be your sort of sage advisors as well. And people, I guess, who are in a similar position to yourself. So create an accountability buddy, because when you create goals with someone and you say, this is what I'm wanting to do, you meet them next summer, how those goals go. Oh, that's a really good way to keep you accountable. Like also have a little bit of that momentum that goes with it. And look, some other things, which is nothing new, break it down. Okay. These massive, huge visions, if you break it down into smaller steps, and start working on those smaller steps. And for me, if you've got something which is your vision or something which is really important to you, block out some time for it where you do your best work each day that you contribute to that. Because if you think, again, with the writing, or if you're trying to bring a project to life or something might be more creative or a different style of thinking, find the time of day which works for you. Block it out, and that's your number one thing you do that day. So I'm not sure if that's around bringing your vision to life, but it's probably a few little tips around just that sort of productivity and getting things done.
No, that makes a lot of sense. No, that's great. One of the things I'm really passionate about is, as a leader, I think one of your key responsibilities is making sure when it's your time to leave that there's not a big vacuum left behind, and that you need to be investing in developing the leaders to fill that space. What do you see as some of the keys to developing that next generation of leaders?
Letting them be leaders, I would say. Give them responsibility to make decisions. Give them some really great coaching, because not everything will be a winner, and let them shine. Yeah. And I guess reflect on my own, when you've got your own brand, which I like do to some extent as a keynote speaking, and be a bit, I want to do everything myself. And so let go, outsource as much as you can. And your role is not around, I guess, maybe you doing everything, but letting the people around you do everything to support you and let them shine. So I guess that's probably my best tip. And look, I worked for a lot of large organizations, but I haven't worked in a large organization as part of that transition. So my thoughts are a little bit different, but all my audiences are around leaders.
No, that's great.
My audiences are leaders, I would say.
Absolutely. No, I really appreciate your time today, Simon. Thank you so much for those gems. We're really appreciative of it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. No worries at all. I'm glad to be invited to speak.
No worries.